Welcome to EPG Parthasarathy. I am Dr. P.K. Bhattacharya, working in Terry, New Delhi. Would like to tell you today about digital divide. Digital divide is a social menace, and all government across the globe is fighting to eradicate digital divide. You know, when you are in between computers, so you won't find the agony or the problem faced by other organizations or the people who do not have access to computer. So there you have so many problems facing every day in your all activities. Today computer is in one of the part of our daily life. Every time whenever we do any transaction, anything, maybe reading something, we use computer today. But consider a rural people who do not have access to computers, so the problem they are facing, everyday humiliation they are going through. Governments have taken several steps, as well as Indian governments also have taken several steps. In this module, we will know what is digital divide, how this digital divide came, what are the problems associated with the digital divide, what are the types of digital divide, what Indian governments are doing, or rather Indian corporates are doing to eradicate this divide, and how best librarians can help in eradicating digital divide in India. Digital divide describes the fact that the world can be divided into people who have and people who do not have access to the capability to use modern information technology such as the telephone, television or the internet and take advantage of their usage. As a result, a mass divide is being created across the society, affecting economy, education, information access and many more. The term digital divide refers to the gap between individuals, household, business and geographic areas at the time different socio-economic levels with regard to their opportunities to access information and communication technologies and their use of internet. It reflects differences among and within the countries. World can be divided into two sets of people who have and who do not have access to ICT or ability to use technologies up to a satisfactory level, internet usage and other modern artifacts such as telephone, television. Such differences are more prominent among rural and urban population, poor and rich people and among developing and developed countries. Besides, digital divide exists based on race, gender, geography, economic status, physical ability in skills, knowledge and ability to use information and other technologies. Some statistics will help us to understand the digital divide better. Internet users account for only 6% of world population and 85% of them are in the developed countries where 90% of the internet hosts are located. Within India, states such as Maharashtra, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh are more digital than Bihar and Uttar Pradesh, and population proportion wise also the disparity is much wider. Also, within a state there is an urban rural digital divide. Within urban there is educated uneducated digital divide. Among educated there is rich and poor digital divide. If we try to understand why digital divide exists, there is no fixed answer to it. It depends on several factors and many of which cuts across the globe. On the other hand, some issues are very specific to individual country, region or state. However, major factors which are also major types of digital divide includes many socio-economic issues. Firstly, the internet is expanding very quickly and not all countries, especially developing countries, are able to keep up with the constant changes. Most of the developing countries have low internet penetration, leading to denial of access to many web-based information and latest technology. Digital divide does not mean that someone doesn't have technology. It can also mean that there is simply a difference in technology and ways of technology use, such as high quality computers, fast internet, technical assistance, or simply the same telephone services. Another reason of digital divide is economic inequality. The digital divide comes from slow diffusion of new technologies to selective technologies and the section in society or countries. Primarily, wealthier people and countries carry out these experiments with new technologies because they have disposable income. When desired results are achieved, it benefits then countries or people. It takes some time before the benefits percolate down to the society or to the developing countries. One of the reasons of digital divide is social mobility. Even if there is enough diffusion of technology and access to information and knowledge, not all people can afford to reach to the knowledge hub. One of the important criteria of digital divide is language barrier. Most of the contents in the web is either written in English or other foreign languages, which Indian people are not well versed with. As a result, getting benefits out of these contents are not possible. This problem is particularly seen in a country like India, since most of the websites in the world are in English or other foreign language. Less than 10% of the Indian population can read and understand such online content. There are other types of digital divide as well. Education is one of them. Education helps a person to enhance one's knowledge. As people become knowledgeable, it is possible for them to venture into other innovative activities, leading to social and economic growth of individual as well as for the country. Access to education therefore takes a priority among human being needs. However, literacy rate in India are still abysmal. Distinctly educated and non-educated people create a divide in the society where majority of the power is enjoyed by the educated lot. Education-based digital divide is created in India due to lack of access to education, lack of financial power, remote location, transportation, safety issues of women, and many more. For example, in most of the urban city school, students are taught on how to use computers and frequently use internet since beginning. Also, they use internet at home due to better connectivity and economic privileges. On the other hand, rural students hardly have any access to computer and internet. Hence, a divide is being created at the beginning of the study itself. People who can access telephone or having mobile phone were considered as elite class till recently. While most of the urban family was having telephone in India, rural population was primarily depending on local telephone booth. As a result, social connectivity, information access were comparatively poor among rural population in India. Later, of course, with advancement of technology, situation has changed as internet now accessible directly using dial-up or broadband connectivity. However, broadband speed is an issue contributing to digital divide even today, but this is largely an issue of IT infrastructure. In many developing countries including India, a substantial percentage of population do not have access to electricity as they were not connected to grid and depends largely on decentralized power generation. This means people cannot have access to computer, internet, telecommunication. This means people cannot have access to computer, internet, telecommunication facilities and many more. For example, many of Indian villages do not have electricity till date, leaving students little chance of study during evening. Rural transport connectivity is still evolving in terms of motorable roads, fast public transport system and many more things. In many developing countries including India, this leads to locational barriers for people to come to a town to access internet. As a result, people who reside in remote places such as upper hills, remote villages, etc. are unable to take maximum benefits of technological advancement. Urban population therefore enjoys digital connectivity much better and always stay ahead in terms of information access. The digital divide has severe and far-reaching adverse implications on the society if not addressed properly. Some of the adverse implications on the people and the society are economic development of the country at various levels, income disparity among society, access to knowledge through internet in severely impacted as most of the web contents are not written in vernacular language, negative impact on basic literacy rate, advanced literacy level is severely affected, advanced medical treatment is not available, job insecurity among people who are not digitally compliant, personality development issues among younger generation and subsequent humiliation and among all class of people in the society. Other long lasting implications due to digital divides include computer literacy, use of electronic data interchange, tech savvy operations such as ATM use. The cruelest blow is inflicted because of urban-rural digital divide. As an example, advanced medical treatment is still deterrent to many of the rural population. Global digital divide describes global disparities, primarily between developed and developing countries, in regard to access of computer, information resources such as internet and the opportunities derived or lost from such access. This gap describes an inequality that exists referring a global scale. As mentioned under the types of digital divide, all such types in some form or other exist in different parts of the world. The recent Digital Inclusion Index released by risk analysis firm Maplecroft uses 10 indicators to calculate the level of digital inclusion found across 186 countries. These include numbers of mobile, cellular and broadband subscriptions, fixed telephone lines, households with a PC and television, internet users and secure internet servers, internet bandwidth, secondary education enrollment and adult literacy. As per Benton Foundation report, the facts about digital divide based on global perspective reveals an estimated 429 million people are online globally. The internet users accounts for only 6% world population and out of that 85% of them are in developed countries where 90% of all internet hosts are located. This is essence of global digital divide today. According to UNESCO, in 2012, over 35.7% of world population is using internet and out of that percentage wise 81% in North America includes US and Canada, 71% in Europe, 43% in Latin America, 19% in Africa, 47% in Northeast and Central Asia, 24% in Southeast Asia, Africa and 13% in Southwest Asia. Even among highly developed nations, there exists a vast difference in availability of home internet access. India has 74% of literates in its population according to 2011 census, which has been increased by 9% comparing with 65% in 2001. Among this population, the ratio of English literates and computer literacy in India is 6% and 6.15% only. This clearly indicates some major reason for digital divide in India. What are those? Rural-urban digital connectivity disparity, low literacy rate, computer literacy is extremely low, lack of IT infrastructure in remote location, low internet penetration, access to digital information access, education disparity, income disparity between rich and poor, low purchasing power of people, less regional content for Indian people to understand. Digital divide is always assessed in terms of differences in the number of telephone, internet users or computer base per head between rich and poor countries. Two types of measurements are available, quantitative measures and measuring digital diffusion. In a quantitative sense, digital divide will be measured as answer to these questions like what extent ICT has been proliferated in the country, who use computer and to what extent, what is the education income level of internet users, what percent of population is using advanced ICT application, web technologies such as e-commerce. Answer to these questions and many others, when tabulated or graphically presented in statistical form, a clear picture normally emerge, which can measure a country's efficiency and preparedness to bridge digital divide. Some other factors which are also often considered for measuring digital divide include measures of number and cost of PCs, telephones, internet hosts, websites, internet users, residential, organization wise, international internet bandwidth, telephone usage, technical capability and advanced application like e-commerce. They do not measure how well people are using this technology and whether the impact is positive or negative for themselves and their communications and communities, for business, education, governments and social usage. Such data can only be collected through rigorous surveys and are hardly conducted under digital diffusion. So, that these are the two ways which we use for measuring digital divide in a country. How we are bridging the digital divide in India? India is making efforts to bridge digital divide through implementation of several projects. However, that has been a less impactful on the society till today. There are literally thousands of initiatives aimed at tackling the digital divide. Government has a defined strategy for bridging digital divide in India under the aegis of Ministry of Information and Communication Technology and NIC. Many projects like computerization of land records, internet banking, public grievance redressal, distance learning program, computerization up to taluka level, creation of statewide area network, video conferencing, training programs for creating awareness, etc. have been undertaken. The MCIT has ensured a proper regulatory framework to rein on digital divide with passage of Information Technology Act in the year 2000, Open Data Initiatives and Data Sharing Policy in 2012, which gave fillip to information technology and e-governance activities and projects countrywide. Further, enactment of Right to Information Act in 2002 and Right of Information Bill in 2002 by the Parliament in May 2005 sets out the practical regime of people to secure access to information under the control of public authorities in order to promote openness, transparency and accountability. The recent concept of e-governance has the ability to support to alleviate digital divide. As the government implements technology usage in regular work process, citizens will be forced to learn it in order to stay in advance. Online transaction, e-bill, e-commerce and e-banking are giving new dimensions to the banking sector with great easement for the customers. Similarly, development of digital contents of government documents and reports, websites, archives, museums and other digital libraries have made easy access to information possible. Besides, other government initiatives such as Data Portal, TDIL, Million Book Projects, DLI, National Mission on Manuscripts, National Mission of Libraries, etc. have made access to information possible in no time and with no additional cost. Some important initiatives taken in India: Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, telecommunication revolution, online payment portals, government databases developed by NIC, national level data portal, that is data.gov.in, where all government organizations are pouring their records at a centralized location. Digital Library of India website along with contents from ministries, government offices, academic institutions, private organizations, etc. are also helpful in this regard. National Mission on Libraries and National Virtual Library initiatives are important steps taken in this direction. Technology Development for Indian Languages TDIL, Vidya-mitra, Bhumi Project, Gyan-Dut, Lok-mitra and some private initiatives like eChopal, Drishti, Muktabodha Digital Library, Media Lab, Asia, etc. are other initiatives taken in this direction. The corporate sector too is discovering that bridging this digital divide could translate into new market opportunities. For example, Infosys, Wipro, HP Labs, Hewlett Packard are developing products appropriate for India's rural markets. Software giant Microsoft has also played a key role in bridging the digital divide in India by partnering with central governments and various state governments for various academic and other development projects. It also sponsors several initiatives in India. The concept of digital libraries play a substantial role to overcome digital divide as it opens up opportunities to information access for the users irrespective of geographic areas. The advent of digital content and its universal access through LAN, WAN and web environment can effectively narrow down the digital divide. The modern library services are designed and delivered in a way that is understandable to the underprivileged users at different phases. Modern libraries are mostly equipped with latest technologies and e-resources. Using modern library facilities, trained library staffs and with e-resources, libraries can play effective role in narrowing digital divide in their respective countries, societies, organizations and localities to which they serve. Some of the activities that libraries are playing or can start contributing in bridging social menace of digital divide are as follows. Proactive information management and dissemination. Librarians need to take part in teaching and training the deprived community on information use and disseminate knowledge. Libraries can spearhead the programs on information literacy through use of modern technologies. Librarians can use information marketing techniques to create awareness and promote services among the targeted communities. Librarians should change the library into digital information centers for educating on technology at distinct levels. Mobile libraries may be initiated for remote places. Copyright laws are important in these aspects when you are considering any digital contents to be digitized and delivered to your customers. Resource sharing should happen mainly between academic libraries and public libraries, providing access to the archives of e-books, e-journals and other e-learning modules to the underprivileged. Academic libraries can bring tremendous progress in this direction. Sufficient training should be made mandatory for the information professionals who participate in education users. Making the catalog of local public library, resource sharing for better knowledge access, develop digital libraries, designing the public library services and programs for rural users in local languages are some other aspects which today's librarian should look into. Some efforts have been made by the library of and information sectors at the different government and UGC level to support information access to users and students through resource sharing and consortia development. Library networks such as Kolkata Library Network, that is CalibNet, Information and Library Network, that is InflibNet, and developing library networks in Delhi like Delnet are giving new dimensions to resource sharing. Despite India taking significant steps towards acquiring competence in information and technology, the country is increasingly getting divided between people who have access to technology and those who do not. At present, most of the Indian villages do not have electricity access, telephone connection, no access to any form of technology, lies between the poverty line and illiterate of course. Several policy initiatives have been taken by the Indian government to bridge the divide. However, still many more such coordinated initiatives are necessary, taking both public and private bodies into this journey. So far, we have taken the note of what is digital divide, what is the barriers of digital divide, and what are the types of digital divide, how globally it is a menace, and in India how we are bridging the digital divide with support from government policies, different corporate bodies, different private players, and we the librarian, modern librarian, what role we can play in bridging this divide in future. Thank you.